it is me, it is Q, tarot practitioner, astrologer, fiber artist. I recently finished knitting this I'll show it to you. This sequin shawl. I'm very pleased with it. I literally like just finished it. And I'm this is how I've been wearing it as I've been doom scrolling on my computer tonight. Anyway, I'm pulling a card for the Aquarius full moon. This full moon is marked by, I have the chart behind my phone, so that's why I'm looking off into the distance. This chart has Pluto and the asteroid goddess Juno on the moon. And we also have Jupiter on the sun. We've got a square out to Chiron, a trine out to Neptune. I'm not going to explain too deeply what all of these things mean. But what I will say is this year has been incredibly pivotal for the outer planets because they've all moved into new signs. And so we're having this moment where all of them are being aspected by this lunation right before we move into the next couple of years of eclipses where they will be in Leo and Aquarius. This is like our last Aquarius lunation that will not be in eclipse for the next couple of years. So it's kind of like a prelude to those incoming themes, but it's not eclipse season yet, so don't be scared. I'm using this little tarot deck here. Not sure what it's called. I bought it secondhand and it came without its guidebook. And some of the cards are like flipped over for some reason. Okay. Anyway, so a few cards for this Aquarius new moon, a little mini reading for those of you who would like to receive it. If you wouldn't like to receive it, you should have already left by now. You should have already scrolled. Okay. Why are so many of these cards flipped over like this? Okay. Benevolent and beneficent ancestors and spirits on my side, on your side, in favor of the highest good of all who choose to receive this reading. Let's see what we've got. I'm going to pull 3 and we're gonna rapid fire go through them. So I'm looking at the 5 of Pentacles, the 3 of Wands, and the 6 of Swords. Here's the tea. I think this lunation marks an important moment for all of us where we have an opportunity to move on. That's always what's happening in the 6 of Swords. We're moving on, but we're moving on from relating to like lack in general, like a mindset that says that there's not enough love, there aren't enough resources. We live in a reality where we are made to believe by those in the highest positions of power who are hoarding the most capital that there is not enough for all of us, but there's actually plenty. There's actually plenty. In the 3 of Wands, we have this opportunity to envision and begin to execute that vision of how we want things to be and what we want them to look like, what things could look like if we moved on from this mindset of lack. That's the 6 of Swords and the 5 of Pentacles, right? And I think it's also an opportunity to lock in on the areas of our life where we are like not leaning on people, where we are choosing to do things all alone and by ourselves, when we need to be embedding ourselves in community. Because like I said about the outer planets and their movements, like we're entering a new era. We're at the very beginning of it. The shifts and changes are so quiet and they're so individual, even though these movements are so collective, right? Stop, shut up, the Magician. I've been seeing this card so much lately. Transformation. That's it. That's what the Magician does. But more importantly, I think to focus on, like, transformation seems scary and intangible. When I talk about transformation as it relates to the Magician, I mean, like, what do you freaking have? What are your skills? What do you already know how to do that you aren't doing? What do you already have that you're not using? Like, what can you offer others? This is part of the community building process. This is part of this process of moving on from this mindset of lack, is acknowledging what you already have in abundance. Maybe there's this part of you that thinks like, well, it's not enough. It's not a lot. It doesn't have to be a lot. You don't even really have to fully believe it's enough yet, right? It's a process. It's a process to convince yourself, to change your mind about what is possible. I'm pulling one more card from this deck, and I am looking. Okay, shut up. It's the Fool. I'm just. That's loud. Oh my God. Sorry. I'm laughing because every reading that I have been doing recently for myself and also collectively implicates Uranus and Gemini. And I think it's because I'm a Gemini rising, honestly. So I have a tendency to magnetize lots of Gemini people to me. And so, of course, these readings are going to have lots of like new beginnings, starting over, moving on. Things are rapidly changing energy, because that's what Uranus and Gemini is all about. And the Fool is like, I'm always telling this story and saying this all the time, but it's like, it's Frodo in Lord of the Rings, finally making the decision to like go and begin to take the ring to Mordor for it to be destroyed, for it to be unmade. It's like finally accepting the call, accepting that responsibility, accepting that like he is the one who has to do it. It's not going to be anybody else. Nobody else is going to come in and save him. Nobody else is going to come in and do his work for him. It's not just going to magically happen. He actually has to take the first step. You actually have to take the first step. You actually have to do something. You actually have to make a move. You actually have to say something. You have to communicate. You have to put your hand out first. You have to ask for help. You have to do something in order to begin the dominoes, moving. You can't just pray. You also have to like do work. You have to create room for these things to come into fruition that you're asking for, that you're praying for, that you want. Yes, I'm going to stop rambling now. I'm not rambling. I'm going to stop this. I think that's plenty. Am I going to stop it? I'll do one more card. I wasn't expecting this to be so long. But I wanted to have some fun. I recently picked up a new oracle deck by Patrick Valenza. Patrick Valenza makes one of my favorite tarot decks, the Deviant Moon Tarot. Obsessed with that deck. And he just has a really creepy, freaky art style. And I'm kind of into it. And so I picked up this oracle deck. The guidebook is only in PDF format. Where do I have it downloaded? I don't know. I might not use it. I'm gonna pull one card from this deck though, and we're just gonna vibe. We're gonna see what it wants to show me, and I might look up the meaning, because this is like my second time using this deck. So bear with me. It's so cool though. Look at the card backs. It's the it doesn't say the name on the. It does. The Garden of Lucid Daydreams Oracle. It's a very cool little oracle deck, and I thought it would be a really sweet companion to my Deviant Moon Tarot. Anyway, final card. I always think of the final card as like a kind of farewell, a sayonara. It's a wrap up, and most importantly, it is a support. It is like a little nugget of wisdom, a little good luck charm that you can take with you in order to actualize the energy of the reading. Okay. Oh, that's actually perfect. So this is the card that I pulled, and oh, that's so sweet. I pulled this the other day as well. This is really good. I'm going to pull up the guidebook really quick. Okay, so the title of this card is Shelter, and I'm going to read everything to you. So a group of weary inhabitants huddle together in defiance against the freezing temperatures. By caring for each other's well-being, they have created a warm-hearted refuge powered by love and compassion. And then there are upright and reversed meanings here. So upright is a supportive family, a tight community, a safe haven, protection, a secure and nurturing environment, mutual respect, conformity. Reversed is family dysfunction or separation, unsafe exposure, vulnerability, being rejected by those who should support you, and non-conformity. And I think there's a little bit of all of this in this reading. Hold on. I'm pulling out the Fool. I'm pulling out the Magician. Because ultimately what we're doing here when we're envisioning this new world, when we're releasing the idea that there's not enough because the powers that be want us to believe there's not enough when there is enough. Some of what we're doing, right, as I spoke about, is like leaning on each other and like finding the place where we fit. Finding the places where we fit, finding the places where what we have to offer will be appreciated and will kind of add to and uplift that group of people, that person, etc. But it requires movement, it requires action. You're going to have to do something, and it might be awkward. it might be hard and it's important to do it anyway, that we might have things, wounds, honestly, from the past where, you know, I think the Five of Pentacles can really speak to that, that like these ideas of there not being enough love don't come from nowhere. It can come from larger cultural ideas, but it can also come from our personal experiences, and dysfunction and trauma, right? It's just the truth. And, you know, there is a point at which you must free yourself. This is the Uranus and Gemini ting, because the way the full moves, they're so naive. They're operating on best case scenario. How the hell does a little hobbit, a little barefoot hobbit, have the audacity to believe that it can make it all the way to this faraway place that no hobbit has ever been to before, except for maybe, I think his what is Bilbo his grandfather? I'm thinking about Lord of the Rings again. That no hobbit has ever been to before, to destroy this thing that no man has been able to destroy, that no wizard could destroy, that no elf could destroy, that no dwarf could destroy, a humble hobbit, right? How dare a hobbit have that audacity? And I believe that sometimes naivete is what we need in order to change our minds about what is possible for us, about what is possible for us to experience, about what it is possible for us to feel in life. Sometimes we need to embody the naivete, the newness, the freshness, the childlike wonder, and accept that we can have new experiences and that our minds can be changed, that things will not always go and end the same way every single time, because we can have new experiences, we can learn to move differently ourselves, and people can do better. That's the reading. I don't have anything else to say about it. Let me know if this resonated in any way, shape, or form. Comment down below if you enjoyed this. Comment down below if you enjoy this. I'm thinking about releasing a pattern for it for free, because it's actually so terribly simple. So terribly simple. It's very warm, surprisingly. She's very warm. It's very, very simple to knit. So I might release the pattern just for the sake of releasing a pattern if anybody wants to make this thing. But yeah, okay. That is all. Thank you so much for being here. Thank your ancestors and your spirits and, you know, the gods that you pray to, for allowing you to be here and bringing this to you. And until next time, take care.